All right. So just want to do a quick video on something cool I put together. I like using ChatGPT when I'm doing setup work in RFactor 2. It doesn't really give me a setup per se. What I do is I just tell the chatbot what I'm feeling after a stint, and then I ask it what it what its thoughts are and see what it tells me. And this either does a couple things. It either confirms that I still understand what I'm doing by telling me something that I kind of expected, or it proves again that it's an idiot and it tells me something that's completely off the wall. So you got to be careful with these chatbots. They will definitely give you bad information, and they will also just hype you up and affirm everything that you tell it and make you feel like you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. So it's really, you got to be careful when you're using these things. So I like to use it, but the workflow can get kind of tedious. There's a lot of copy pasting going on. So what we've done, me and Chatbot, is we've created a Python app. And we just call it Setup Manager. So this is packaged as an exe. So it self-contained, runs by itself. We got two different tabs up here, Chat GPT Prep. It's important that you prompt the chatbot with exactly what you're gonna do. So we're gonna put in the track name, Abu Dhabi. Um, and this document here is gonna explain to the chatbot all the minimum and maximum values that you can have for the Formula Pro. And then it's gonna give it some other important context so that way when it's actually giving me recommendations, they make sense. And it's not a off the wall recommendation like take the rear wheels off the car. So it can only give recommendations based on the contents of this document. So we'll click generate the chat GPT input. What this does is gives me pretty much a text file that I can lead with in a new chat. And it has the settings explained. It gives it my current setup, and then it gives it some instructions at the bottom, like recommending setup changes in the exact format of setupchanges.config, not adding additional notes or comments to setupchanges.config, and only using a broad note on the note line. So we can copy this to clipboard, and we can go over to our new chat, Control V, punch it in and see what it does. So right off the bat, it's gonna assume that it's giving me, it's important that I say assume because again, chatbot's stupid and chatbot will feed you bad information time and time again. It's gonna assume it's giving me a balanced Abu Dhabi oriented baseline that I could load directly as setupchanges.config. And so here it is. This is the config file that we're gonna use to create quote unquote baseline Abu Dhabi setup. And so we can, just investigate why would I want to use these values as opposed to the values I used for Suzuka. And so now it's going to give its breakdown of why it thinks that I should use this config file versus my Suzuka setup. And that's a good, I don't know. Sometimes I read this, sometimes I just skip over it. But for this example, we're just going to go back up here. We're going to copy this config file code. And now we get into the main portion of the setup manager. So I'm gonna load this setup here so you guys can see it. Here it is, my setup from Suzuka. And this isn't actually a raw SVM file. It's been filtered. A lot of extra garbage has been taken out, things that you cannot change. And then I've condensed the front and the rear wheels into just one section. So again, I had Chatbot write a Python script that did that for me. So now I'm gonna paste that config file it gave me, this balanced low drag Abu Dhabi baseline with stable braking and predictable rear end. And I'm going to save it as a new config file. It's going to save it to a temporary location. This will get deleted as soon as I close my application here. And now I'm going to run setup changes.config. I'm going to pick this setup that I just loaded. It applied 65 changes, and it also created a new file, race_1. And so what we should expect to see, let's compare this real quick. At Suzuka, we're running 30 degrees front wing, which is a value of 50, 47 degrees rear wing, which is a value of 22. And so now it's substantially reducing the amount of front wing we're running for Abu Dhabi. It's keeping the rear wing the same. What I've been told is that the Formula Pro rear wing is overall downforce, front wing is the aero balance. So it's not, there's not a huge drag penalty with the front wing. I think I did some high speed testing, and between min and max front wing, it was less than like 10 kilometers of speed difference down a straight. So, and I could be way off on that. I'm just trying to recall that from memory, but it's been a long time. So anyways, substantially less front wing. So now let's see if this actually worked. So I'm going to load this one so this is a SVM file. This will be straight up read by rFactor 2 if I dropped it into, say, like this folder here. Let's open it. We can see it changed. Also note that the comments are deleted. That's fine. rFactor 2 does not necessarily need these end of line comments in the SVM. When you see these right here, the leading line comments, this is telling rFactor 2 that this is actually a default setting for this car. That's what that means. These inline backslashes are actually commenting this out because this is just what's being displayed to the user inside the game. 6.5 degrees of caster. So it did work. That's pretty cool. And then, like I said, all I would do from here is I would take this. I could cut that and drop it in to current setup while I'm running rFactor 2, and then if I refresh my setup page, it'll be there for me to load. One thing I learned is that you cannot edit these files while the sim is running. I've tried it and it would just keep pasting the same exact contents. It locks the files. So still yet to work around that and how to do that. But yeah, this is a cool little Python thing that I made to help me kind of streamline the workflow with the chatbot. Again, this chatbot is not making me a better sim racer. This is by no means a game changer. This is just something I like to do. It's fun to see what the chatbot thinks about setups, and then you can also tell it to go scour the internet for info on the forums regarding setup work.